Today we're going to talk about a famous problem in game theory, prisoner's dilemma. But first of all, what is game theory? Game theory is the study of mathematical models of conflict and cooperation between rational, intelligent decision makers. Or in other more simple words, the study of how and why people make decisions they make. Game theory is mainly used in economics, political science and psychology, among other subjects of course, and it helps us to understand some bizarre logic going on beneath these decision makings. Although the name would suggest, game theory is not just about games, but it, for example, helps us to understand why businesses make the decisions they make. Actually, you can apply game theory to almost every single decision-making process where one might think about the possible outcomes. But that's enough about game theory for now. Let's get into our topic of today, prisoner's dilemma.
You and your partner are under arrest now, and you have two options: keep silent or make a confession of your partner.
If both of you choose to testify each other, then you will get the same 2 years in prison. On the opposite, if you all remain silent, you will face 1 year in prison. But if one of you testifies the other while the other keeps silent, the former will be released at once, but the latter will be sentenced to 3 years in prison.
So think about your decision and tell us later.
So, if he keeps silence and I did not say anything, we'll both get 1 year, and 1 year is not too bad.
If I keep silence, I will get at least 1 year in prison. No, wait. If I defect him. Yeah, they might set me free once. Yeah.
Wait! What if he defect me and I keep silence? I'll be in prison for 3 years. But if I defect him as well, I will at most be in prison for 2 years. So there'll definitely be a better option.
Alright, so let's go through this again. The police has caught our two criminals, criminal A and criminal B, but they lack the evidence to give them both a full chance. So what they do, they give each of the criminals two options. Either to cooperate, meaning stay silent, or to defect, meaning betray the other. So there are three possible scenarios here. First scenario is where they both stay silent. In this case, they both will serve only 1 year in prison. Second case is where they both betray the other, in which case they both will serve 2 years in prison. The third case is where one criminal betrays the other and the other one doesn't, in which case the betrayer will be set free, while the other prisoner spends 3 years in prison. So let's think of this from the point of view of criminal B. If criminal A cooperates, criminal B has two options. If he cooperates, he will spend 1 year in prison. On the other hand, if he defects, meaning betrays the criminal A, he will be set free. So the obvious choice here for criminal B is to defect, meaning betray criminal A. On the other hand, if criminal A defects, criminal B has again two options: to cooperate and defects. If criminal B stays silent, he will spend 3 years in prison, which is not ideal at all, is it? And if he betrays criminal A as well, he will spend 2 years in prison. So the point of view of criminal B, doesn't matter what criminal A chooses, he should defect. And same applies for criminal A as well. So they both end up defecting, meaning betraying together, which means they both will spend 2 years in prison. From the point of view of the group, that's not the ideal choice. From the point of the group, they both should cooperate, meaning stay silent, and they both spend 1 year in prison. But But that's not what happens when two rational decision makers think about themselves. Hence, the prisoner's dilemma. To make this work, we have to have a few assumptions. First of all, they both have to be intelligent and rational, because if they aren't, it's not going to work. Second of all, they both have to be self-interested, meaning they won't care about each other. Third, they won't reward each other or have revenge depending on their choices. And fourth, they won't lose any of the criminal reputation they might have. So let's take a real life example of prisoner's dilemma, and we are going to use advertising. So let's assume we have two companies, let's say Nike and Adidas, which are fiercely competing for profits. And we assume that both these companies are identical, meaning they have the same prices, same number of customers, and hence same profits. And also we assume that the number of customers remains same no matter what happens. Also, we assume that there are no shared customers, meaning each of the customers is only customer to one of these companies, Nike or Adidas, not both. Also, we assume that both these companies advertise. So we have our two companies, Nike and Adidas, and they have two options. Either they can keep the advertisement as it is, or they can increase the amount of ads they show up. So again, we have three scenarios here. First scenario is where both of these companies decide not to advertise, in which case they make the same profit. The second scenario is where one of these companies decides to advertise more. In this case, the company which advertises more gains some customers from the other company which doesn't advertise, and as a result gains some profits, even though they lose a tiny bit of money as a result of extra advertisements. And the third scenario is where both of these companies decide to advertise, and again, both of these companies make the same profit, but this time it's less compared to if they both didn't advertise. For the group, it would be ideal if both these companies didn't advertise, in which case they make the most profit. But they both think about themselves and end up advertising, and hence not gaining as much profit as they could. And hence again we have the prisoner's dilemma. But this whole scenario could be avoided if both these companies made a contract with each other, where they both would be punished if they destroy the contract, which would make them not to advertise. So both of these companies would not advertise at all anymore. But this would destroy the whole system. But that's enough about prisoner's dilemma for now. See you some other time.